So previously we created the hood of the Ford GT40. Now we will be creating the roof and the other parts of the car. We will start it from the roof. I move it on the roof and shape it accordingly. That was just a mistake. I want to create half of it and we will mirror it at the end. Holding the A key, I place the lines. I subdivide this body. Now we will adjust this roof from the other views. We just changed the view of this mesh. This is the control mesh and this is the actual mesh. The surface that will be created at the end will be of this shape that is shown by this option. Now we will adjust it from the front view. Now we will move the outer vertices a bit down to align them according to the edge of this car, edge of the roof of the car. So we will use this camera to fine tune the shape. Okay. So this marks the completion of the roof. Now we will mirror it. So that's it. So once the roof is done, we will continue creating the side of the body. We will select the edges and holding the A key we will extend it. Now reshaping it. You can see that on both sides it is mirrored, so whatever I created on the right side is automatically created on the left side. The greater the number of divisions, greater is the flexibility for you to sculpt the shape of the body. But you will get the greater the vertices you have in the body, it will be more time consuming to shape the body. So it is up to you to choose how many number of divisions you want to make. From the side view, we are tuning the shape of these sides. Checking it from the different views. Now again checking it from the top and the 3D angles, since it is not clear from the one view how the 3D shape is being created, so we need to check it from the different angles how it looks. So we are taking a look on it from the different angles and we will tune it accordingly. Now in order to make the sharp curves, you have to place the edges near the near another edge, so weightage of those, the curvature of that region increases. When edges are at distances, the greater the distance between the edge, the lesser will be the curvature. The closer the curves, the greater is the curvature. placing more edges. Now further extending the body outwards towards the rear wheel. Holding the A key, we are extruding the edges further and tuning the shape according to the 2D image. The basic commands for shaping and extruding and like holding the A key and sculpting the body is available in the promo tutorial I created for the hood. The link for that tutorial is given in the description of this video. Now we're creating the planar surface for the creation of the hood. I hope the speed of the video is understandable. Dividing the surface by adding another loop between the edges, extruding the edges further to create the shape. And this is the simple surfacing techniques to complete the overall shape of the hood. The further techniques will be applied while creating the vents and the depression for the headlights. That will be done later on. Now shaping the hood from the side view. We see it from the different angle how the shape of the hood looks and tune it to more perfection. Once we adjust the shape of the hood from all the three views, the 3D shape of the hood will be according to the requirement. So we are trying to approach that shape which is of the actual car. For that purpose we need to sculpt that shape perfectly from all three angles. Extruding the edge downwards. This again I am explaining this. This is done by selecting the edge, then holding the A key and click on the arrow of the movement and move the edge downwards. It will not move the edge if you are holding the A key. A is for the addition command and it will add the surface further downwards. Now tuning the shape as per the requirement. You need to know which vertex you need to select to shape the body. You should be very careful while selecting the vertices for shaping. From the top view, you should know that which vertex you have selected. For example, I just now needed to change the position of this lower guard, but from the top view I must be careful by selecting the vertex that is linked to that face or edge. Now we are extending the faces. Now you can see that all these faces the edges are not connected. So in order to connect the edges, we will merge the vertices. Merging vertices is simple. You have to select the two vertices and click on the merge command. Now we will connect the hood with the roof by extending the edge. We will make the vertex hard, and then we will select the edge, and holding the A key we will extend it towards the roof. Now in order to connect it perfectly with the roof, we need to use the import geometry command and click on the roof. Now we will select the edge or vertex and apply the desired constraints. For example, in this case we have constrained vertex with the vertex. You have to bring the vertex closer to the reference geometry in order to apply the constraint. If you bring it nearer to the geometry, the constraint you will apply will easily be applied. When you click on the constraint to vertex, the vertex is constrained to the nearest vertex of the geometry. If you select edge, it will constrain to the nearest edge of the geometry. As you can see, I have applied it, and both of the vertices of this link is connected to the roof. Now we will shape it accordingly. For further refinement, we will add more edges between this. We have made both the vertices hard in order to keep the shape as per our requirement. Now we can see the slight error here. And we have solved it by merging the vertices. We have moved the vertex a bit down to keep the shape uniform. Now I have mirrored the hood on the opposite side, so it is now symmetrically created on the both sides. Oftenly you need to Google some 3D images of the required model in order to make it more accurate. Sometimes it is not clear from the 2D image what shape is required precisely. In this case, it is not understandable from the 2D image how the rear of the body looks. We have the cutting edges shown on the 2D image, but we are not familiar with the exact shape until we see the 3D model of the car, or we see the car actually in front of us. So it was required to check the 3D model from the internet to keep the shape more precise. We are extending the edges according to the shape. Adding the loops in between to sculpt the shape and tune it finely. The procedure is simple. You just need to judge the shape, and it is not difficult to create the surface by power surfacing. It is a very powerful tool. You just need to know what should be the shape of the car, and this is done by tracing over the 2D images. The more accurately you are familiar with the shape, the more accurately you can draw. There is no difficulty with the tools. You just need to check it from every view that the shape you are making is according to the shape of the car. Now we are making this edge a bit circular to encircle the tire. Now holding the A key, we are extending the edges to add additional surface. Now reshaping it and placing the vertices precisely according to the shape. Later on we will tune it from the different angles, and we will start developing the rear side of the car after this. Now we will tune the shape from the rear. The process is overall simple. You just need to visualize which part you need to make first and how you will make the surface. You just need this basic visualization, and you just need to know what kind of surface you are making. Sometimes it is not clear from the 2D image, so you need to visualize that what the surface will look like in 3D, and once you know, you can easily create it in the 3D form by power surfacing tool. The same method for designing is usually used in 3ds Max and Maya and other similar softwares. Now a similar add-in has been integrated inside the Solidworks to make this tool more powerful. Now you can make almost everything using the Solidworks. This was the limitation previously. Solidworks was not supporting the polygon modeling previously. Now adding this rear body where the muffler tip of this car is present, and it will be connected to the rear part of the body. We will creating this rear to connect the surfaces. we need to connect the upper edge of this part to the edge of the surface we just created. So in order to connect these two surfaces, we will bring them closer, and after bringing them closer we will merge the vertices. Let's see how we do it. So we have merged the vertices, so the surfaces are now connected. Finally, once we are done with completing these surfaces, we will finally mirror the surface on both sides. First we need to complete the rear portion of the car, the rear vents and the rear wind, the body around the rear window. We have used the bridge command to connect the two edges. The bridge command only appears when you select two edges that can be connected. Now we will again use the bridge command by selecting the two edges. So you can see that two edges have been connected. This is called bridge. Now in order to fill the faces, you need to select the edges around the boundary edges and then click the fill face command. It will create a face between that boundary. This is used to fill the gaps. These basic commands and basic orientation towards power surfacing, for this the tutorials are available on the NPower website, where you can see how to use these basic tools of the power surfacing, and few of the uses are also available in the basic promotional tutorial I created previously for only the hood of the car. This tutorial only involves the application of all the skills for developing this Ford GT40 2016 model. Now we are trying to compare it with the rear image of the actual photograph of the car to see if we're making the rear body correctly or not. So this depression is for the vent that is connected to the door vent for the flow of air. In the current case, we will just create a depression here to give the rear look of the car. We will not create the complete vent for now. This vent is actually connected to the vent that is present behind the doors of the car. We are merging the few vertices because it is always recommended that each polygon should have maximum of 4 vertices. So if any polygon has greater than 4 vertices, you should merge the vertices to make it a 4-sided or 4 vertices polygon. You can also create few triangles, but triangles are also not recommended. You should try your level best to keep all the polygons 4-sided. After sculpting the body to the required shape, we will try to make the shape more perfect and remove all the dents by exiting this transparency mode and seeing it in the solid mode to make the shape more beautiful and appealing. Let's see how we do it. See, we have exited the transparency mode. Now in the solid surface we can easily see the shape of the surface, exactly how it is looking. Now we will tune the shape further until we achieve the desired perfection. Looking at the 3D image to see what actual car looks like. Now again we are going into the transparency mode to create the circle for the muffler tips of the car. This is done by using the pencil sketch tool. You just need to connect the edges from the center and it will automatically create the circle. Now using the boundary command, we have offset another boundary of that circle, and we moved it inside to create a depression for the muffler tip. Now we have mirrored the body. You can see that the mirror is not perfect and all the vertices is not connected. You will use the command unify the mirror and you will then merge the vertices. Here's the unify command. Now you will merge the vertices and the surface will be perfect then. Now that is a perfect mirror. Now you can see you have to select the faces on both sides of the mirror. The other side will not update automatically. Now using the unify mirror command, the both sides of the mirror are now independent. Now we are done completing the surface. Now finally we will create the doors. For that purpose we will hide the previous surfaces, so it will not disturb our design of doors. Creating the planar surface again and adjusting its vertices according to the shape. Moving it to this position from the top view and curving the doors inside as it is in the car. The visualization and requirement judgment is as important as the acquirement of the skill. If you have the skill, if you are good at power surfacing, it doesn't mean that you can effectively create a car. You need to visualize the required surfaces for that, so it comes with the practice. The more designs you make, the more perfect you become. If you talk about the skill, the power surfacing tool is very simplified as compared to Maya 3ds Max. Those softwares have very complex tools, and it is power surfacing is easy to learn and easy to apply, but you need to know what you need to, require to create. It is, I recommend that you should follow this tutorial and create the complete Ford GT40 model by yourself. Then you will be able to create other surfaces. Addition of this tool, this add-in to SolidWorks makes the software very powerful. You will no more have that limitation of creating the uneven surfaces and difficult bodies. Everything can be easily created using this tool. Now we will use the import geometry command to connect the vertices to the rest of the body. That's why we unhid the other parts this time, to connect the door to the surface. Same is being done with this edge. We are connecting it with the body. We have deleted the necessary part. Now we can see that the model is okay from every angle. We will fine tune the shape of the door. For that purpose we will add more edges. Now the shape has been created. We will now create the door vents. For that purpose we will use the boundary tool and extend the boundary backwards as we did in the muffler tip depression. And you can see that this vent has been created. This vent is actually connected to the rear vent in real. For now we are not connecting it. Now we are creating rest of the features that we left on the hood, the vents on the hood and the depressions for the headlights. Once we complete this, the model of the car will be complete. Addition of these features to the hood are also available in the tool. I'm sorry, I spoke it wrong. And addition of these features is present in the promotional tutorial I created for the hood only. So I will fast forward from here. So once hood is complete, the final model of the car is here. We will use the render tool to render this image to output a good image to present it. So finally render is complete. We will save the rendered image somewhere. I'm saving it to my desktop, and so we have the completed product. We will use the zebra stripes to look at the model from everywhere. You can see the continuity of the model by the zebra stripes. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for more tutorials. Thank you.